This is the land of a walking world in northwestern Kenya. It's wild, and it's one of the most beautiful places on earth. I've had the privilege of working in this remote region for almost 20 years, helping isolated communities build bridges over their rivers. This scenario happens too often. A child is sick with malaria. The young mother has exhausted all of her traditional cures and remedies. And she knows that the only hope that she has for her child is to get to the nearest clinic, which is 25 kilometers away, and she has to walk to it. She gets to the river that separates her from the clinic, and she can't cross because it's flooded, and she's hopeless. What is she supposed to do now? We in the developed world, we take bridges for granted. Here are two of the most famous bridges in our country, and hundreds of thousands of people cross these bridges every day without even noticing them until they have to pay the toll, and then they complain. Did you know that there's 600,000 bridges in our country? But in a walking world, a simple footbridge is a luxury. Crossing these rivers are not just an inconvenience. This is about survival. This is the real deal. This is the reality for millions of people in a walking world. How would you like to have to face this in your daily life? Or how about facing this on your commute? Hippos are the most dangerous animals on the planet, and they kill 33 people a day on average. Or how would you like to have to cross a swift river just getting to work, like these men are doing? I've walked through this river probably 50, 60, 70 times, and I can tell you it's difficult and it's dangerous, even without a wheelbarrow. Rivers are barriers. They prevent people from everything in life, the necessities of life. Can you imagine living in a walking world and being faced with rivers? If you're faced with a flooded river like this, then you might as well be trying to climb the Great Wall of China. It's impossible. Rivers prevent children from going to school. Rivers prevent people from reaching life-saving clinics like this. Rivers prevent people from attending their weekly market just to buy their food. Can you imagine not being able to get to the grocery store to buy food, or have the ability just to go to the doctor? This is my first bridge. I come from a troubled background, and I was living on my own when I was 16, so I had to eat. And a friend of mine said, "Hey, Harmon, if you teach me how to play guitar, I'll teach you how to lay bricks." Well, I can tell you, I got the better end of the deal because I excelled and became an excellent mason, and my friend is still trying to play Stairway to Heaven somewhere. I promise you. But little did I know that my troubled past in a brick would lead me to this. Building simple footbridges in the remote parts of Kenya. One of the great reasons I do this is because of children. The smiles on their face. I love this picture. It's just full of action and full of life. And something that's really inside of me touches me when I think about children. I know the impact that this bridge is making on their lives, that they won't be prevented from going to school because the river is flooded. Even if it's only a few days or a week, they get left behind. And education is the key to breaking this cycle of poverty. This bridge alone, I built 10 years ago, has had more than 730,000 safe crossings for about $4,000. Well, after I built my first bridge, I realized that this was more than the Boy Scout project. I realized that this was a serious need, and one bridge led to another, and to another, and to another. I cannot overstate. What can I say to you to be able to communicate, to tell you how important simple footbridges like these are for communities, for this couple? And I cannot overstate the need of footbridges around the world. And that's why I'm here. I want to tell the world that the developing world needs footbridges everywhere. And we just don't get it because we don't live it, right? But one of the favorite things I like about bridge building is completing a project, because we always have a bridge opening party, which can be very interesting when you work cross-culturally. And this bridge opening was no different. People came from all around. We were out in the middle of the bush. And, you know, a bridge is a big deal when you don't have one. And people like to party. And so they put their best on, just like we would. And there's singing, and there's dancing, and there's speeches. And normally I'm giving gifts of appreciation after completing a bridge project when working with a community. But today, in this bridge opening ceremony, was like a day I've never had before, and I'm going to tell you. After the dancing and the singing, it was time for the speeches and the gifts. So I'm standing up, and a lady comes out of the crowd and gives me a goat, which is an extravagant gift, really. It's sincere. And I was about to give my speech, and then a lady came out of the crowd, another lady, and gave me another goat. I'm standing there with two goats, just overwhelmed with appreciation. And I'm about to give my speech. And then an elder stood up and said, "We would like to give you a gift of a young wife." Yeah. And I had to think quickly because I didn't want to offend the community or the elder. And so I said, "Oh, this community is the best ever. I've never been such a part of, just this incredible generosity. Your generosity is beyond everything. Not only did you give me one goat, you gave me two goats, and now you want to give me a young wife as a gift." I said, "I can thank you for the one goat and the two goats, but I'm sorry I cannot accept your offer of a young wife as a gift." And then everyone was looking at me. And then I said, "The reason why is because my wife in Nairobi would kill me." And they all burst into laughter and realizing that that was probably true in my culture. But their sincere offer was a beautiful expression of their culture. Some sort of border had been crossed. I ask myself sometimes, why do I build bridges? The smile on this child's face is the answer. I want to bridge communities together. I want to help them overcome their boundaries and their limitations. And speaking of limitations, I was asked to come to a community that had been struggling with crocodile in hippo attacks. And after meeting with the community, I went back to my camp, and I sat on the south side of the river, and I was drinking a cold beer and just started staring at the other side, saying to myself, it's only from here to there. It's only from here to there, ignoring the fact that it was longer than a football field. I thought, how on earth am I going to do this? And how in earth can I not? It was way out of my league. It was out of my comfort zone. And I was faced with my limitations. I searched everywhere looking for a design that would build this incredible structure. And I went to universities, I went to other bridge companies, other organizations, and then I found an engineer who was very experienced, and he was willing to help me. Well, after 2 years of hard work, I lived in the bush for almost a full year in a tent. Then we completed the Galana River Suspension Bridge. This is the first bridge of its type on the continent of Africa. It is the longest suspension bridge, pedestrian suspension bridge in East Africa. It has over 20,000 different parts. This bridge was about me overcoming my limitations. Overcoming my limitations is my innovation. Where I started 20 years ago, I never thought that I would be working out in the bush of Kenya in Africa or standing in front of you. What have bridges brought to my life? They've brought me a clear sense of purpose and meaning, something I believe we all desire. Building bridges in some ways have helped me overcome my own borders, from a guitar, from a brick, to the smile on this mother's face. Thank you.